Joe Smith Jr. versus Maxim Vlasov, the predictions. Knuckleheads, before I continue, be sure to stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to tell you how to enter to win a free pair of 12-ounce, never-before-used fight gloves that you're absolutely going to love. So be sure to stick around to the end. So before we make our prediction, I want to read something very pertinent that came from the mouth of one of the best trainers in the world. That's Mark Ramsey out of Canada. And he said the following about Joe Smith Jr., and I think it's very important to take this into consideration. He said, he's not Sugar Ray Leonard, but he's big, powerful, and has balls, and he will give 100%. Now, this is a Mark Ramsey saying this, who not only trains Artur Beterbiev, probably the best light heavyweight in the world, but a guy who trains a later Alvarez, a guy who was knocked out by Joe Smith Jr., and a guy in Alvarez who was a former champion. So I'm really paying attention to what Mark Ramsey says here. But listen, this is something you've seen for yourself if you've seen Joe Smith Jr. fight. And the same with Maxim Vlasov. These are two tough, rough customers who come forward and throw caution to the wind. These guys are not known for their slick boxing skills. These guys come in and bang it out. Now, with that being said, I think the guy with the bigger dog on the inside, and that's the bigger dog on the outside, is going to win this fight. And so let's look at a couple of things that are influencing my prediction on this fight. First and foremost, Maxim Vlasov is 34 years old to Joe Smith Jr.'s 31. While that doesn't sound like a major disadvantage, Vlasov has 48 professional fights. Of those 48 fights, he's won 45 times and had only 26 of those 45 wins by knockout, right? So there's a lot of miles on that odometer, and there's not a whole lot of power. I mean, we're talking about just a little over 50% knockout ratio. Then we look over to Joe Smith Jr., who again is a younger guy, has only 29 fights in his career, 26 wins, 3 losses. But of those 26 wins, 21 coming by way of knockout. Now look at the people he's knocked out, right? Later Alvarez, who we just mentioned. Bernard Hopkins, who he knocked out of the ring like a video game. It was ridiculous. Andre Fonfara, who he absolutely destroyed in a single round. So, this is not a guy to play around with. And one of his losses, I would like to mention, was to Sullivan Barrera, where he broke his jaw and continued to fight for the remainder of the fight. And I think he broke it early and fought to a unanimous decision. And then Dmitry Bivol, who is probably the second best light heavyweight in the world behind Artur Beterbiev, and potentially could be first place depending on Artur Beterbiev's aging. I mean, look, Beterbiev still looked good in his last fight, but Father Time is going to catch up at some point. However, I still have him listed as the best. My point, Joe Smith Jr., despite lacking pristine boxing skills, is an absolute demolition man, punching legends. I don't care if Bernard Hopkins was 75 years old at the time. Punching legends out of the ring. I mean, this guy, I don't know if you've seen him. They haven't even listed his reach on Wikipedia because the guy looks like he's inbred with a pterodactyl. I mean, the guy can literally jab you from across the ring. I've never seen, really, I haven't seen too many guys built like this guy. Totally blue-collar guy. Just looks like he doesn't know anything but fighting. But apparently he also works construction, as a member of a union, and owns a tree stumping business or something like that with his father. I mean, this guy's just tough through and through. And I do believe that Maxim Vlasov would have to kill this guy to stop him. That being said, can Maxim Vlasov really keep Joe Smith off of him? Having had 48 fights and just 26 knockouts in those 48 fights? Absolutely not. I think with the WBO light heavyweight title on the line, Joe Smith gets this done in devastating fashion And even though Maxim Vlasov is an extremely durable character, right? I don't believe he stays the distance with Joe Smith Jr. I believe he gets finished probably in the latter half of the fight. I want to say late in the fight, maybe between the 8th and the 12th round. That's my prediction. Now I'm going to tell you guys how to enter to win a free pair of a sexy 12-ounce, never before used fight gloves. Here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to join the channel. Hit the join button, $5 a month, join the channel. You're also going to have to get at least 2 people to subscribe to the channel, and you're going to have to send me their names in the comments below. Finally, you're going to have to follow us on Instagram at FightersRep. That's it. That's all you've got to do. And at the end of the month, I'm going to send these gloves to the lucky winner. Now, for those who have already joined the channel, I greatly appreciate it. As long as you get 2 people to subscribe to this channel and you like us on Instagram, or rather follow us on Instagram, then you're entered to win as well. We would never neglect our already existing members. So that's all I've got to say about that, knuckleheads. I look forward to hearing what you have to say about this. And good luck in the giveaway. I hope you guys win.